Okay, wow, so I hope I live up to the expectations of kicking off this amazing event. What a great looking crowd. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm more excited to share with you the innovation. So yes, I did get to participate in the Fall Summit, and that's when I was introduced to NATO and this event. So our topic today is innovations, connecting audiences in digital and physical worlds. So I'm really passionate about this subject, that our worlds are coming together in the digital and the physical. They are one, right? So we're going to look at some examples of how that's playing out today. So let me tell you a little bit about my company. The name is a little strange, I get it. It's KWOLIA. It's derived from a philosophical term that I actually learned from Deepak Chopra, so it must be cool. So it's KWOLIA, it's a word. And what it means is experience and perception. So when we relate to consumers leveraging technology, it really is about what their experience is with our brand and their perception of our brand. So I think technology really is at the intersection of those two things. Right. This is something I came across recently, and I thought it was appropriate because we're at a time now where things are shifting and shifting very quickly. And we have to look to the future. So this is from Simon Sinek, leadership. He does a lot of leadership training. The challenge of the unknown future is so much more exciting than the stories of the accomplished past. So we've done a lot of great things in the past, but now we have to really move forward in the future. Things are moving very quickly. If you can remember a time called 2007, 2008, a lot went down. I don't know if anybody remembers. I remember. I was living in Florida, and the real estate market there was crazy. Well, when things happened at that time, we had a perfect storm. And what it was we had an economic collapse. We had the iPhone that came out, so smartphone adoption accelerated. We had big data and cloud computing become available. And since that time, everything's changed exponentially. And we are living in a digital world. So what am I? I'm a futurist, right? I got the glasses, so it must be true. So those, Google Glass, this is a topic for another day. But really what a futurist is we look out a couple of years into the future, right? So 2 years in the future, 3 to 5 years in the future, 5 to 10 years in the future, and beyond, right? So what we're most actively looking at is a couple years out to see where we're going to go and the direction we're going to take. And that's really what a futurist is. And I'm most interested in physical-digital connection, as we said. So, what does the future hold? Well, I don't know. Let's find out. Physical experiences will exist, but there will be fewer physical locations. It's a multi-generational demographic for another 40 years. Here's what I mean by that. We'll talk a little bit about demographics, not a whole lot, but a little bit. So we all know the boomers, then we have the Gen Xers, then we have Gen Y, millennials, touch on those folks, and then Gen Z and whatever comes after that. So we are running the spectrum. So I'm in the Gen X generation. I expect they'll be alive for another 40 years. I use the internet, I use mobile, digital. So I'm in the middle, right? But I'm not a digital native. Millennials are on one spectrum of being our first digital natives. And then, of course, we have the boomers on the other end. So what this means is we have to communicate and engage with all of these people and all these different modes. This is not an easy task. And innovation is evolving in digital, mobile, and socially driven. So we're going to talk about some of these things today. So let's start with the future of retail. I work a lot with retail. And the future of retail in one slide is this. In 25 years, it is projected that we will have 30% of the malls that we have today. Now I'm sharing this with this group because this is really important information for you to know, I think, right? Considering the relationships that you guys have, a lot of you have in shopping centers. So we have about 1,000 enclosed malls today, we'll be down to 300. Something to pay attention to. Now, another thing to give us some context. These guys, these millennials, everybody keeps talking about them. 60% sick of hearing about the millennials, but here's why everybody's talking about them, just to remind you. If we look at what the generations, this is a fascinating number. There's 92 million of this group. By contrast, boomers are 77 million. By contrast, Gen Xers are 61 million. This group is 92 million. That is relevant and that is significant. As much as we don't want to necessarily change as fast as we need to, we have to. Because these people have the spending power. And they are the largest group in US history ever. The other thing is they are the first digital natives. And let me just go back to the spending power, by the way. Spending will exceed boomers by 2017. What's today's date? We're in 2016. We're April 2016, so we're counting down the clock now. It's kicking off. So the millennials are also the first digital natives. They are social and connected. They are delaying home buying. They're delaying marriage. They love tech. They love product reviews. They love good deals. They love maximum convenience at the lowest cost. Singles. How many people in this room are single? Is there a good percentage? Or you're not admitting to it? I don't know. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to show you a lot of dating apps today, too, so don't worry about it. It's cool. We'll take care of it. No worries. But this is something I just talked about. It's South by Southwest. Fascinating. For the first time in history, the U.S. population is single. 50%, over 50% of the U.S. population is single. That is significant. And I share that with you because this is a group that we can talk to, that we can market to, that we can think about in a different way, right? So just keep that in the back of your mind. So trending to the future. So we can talk about the future by understanding what's happening today and what we see today. So there's 3 buckets I put it into. Technology. So we have mobility, right? We're going to be on the move. We're going to use our devices, smart devices. Those aren't going away. So we're going to be mobile. We're looking at things that are interactive, right? How can we engage, connect? Connected. So we're going to be living in we are living in a connected world, right? There's going to be Wi-Fi available everywhere. Where devices are connected to the internet. People are connected to the internet. We have data-driven. So we'll talk a little bit about this. Big data. There's a lot of data collection happening. I just recently did some work with IBM. We presented at something, and one of the comments that they made, which I think is something everyone should walk away with from today, is understanding that every company is a data company. And that's how IBM is looking at the world, and I think that's an absolute right way to be looking at the world. Every company is a data company. And then collaborative, and we'll touch on this, and I'm looking at this in 2 ways. Collaboration with technologies to deliver a singular experience. So we'll take multiple pieces of technology to deliver an experience to your end user, your audience, right? So we have a combination of things to deliver one experience. And then the second piece is a collaboration amongst brands and other corporate partners to help you engage that audience as well. So seemingly disparate partners coming together to create a unified experience. The consumer. They are social. This is not going away, it's expanding. And it's expanding in ways that we'll touch on today that are really important. Video, commerce, communication. On-demand, so we think about on-demand delivery services like Amazon Prime Now, where you can get, I don't know if you're familiar with this, you can order in some of the urban markets, New York City, Chicago, Bay Area, you can order goods on demand and have them delivered to you within an hour, right? Uber Eats, now they're delivering food. So an on-demand economy. Experiences, the consumer is looking for experiences, something that they can, for lack of a better word, experience, right? Their Uber experience. Sharing economy, this would be something like Airbnb, right? So we're looking to utilize the resources that are existing. Remember, they're not purchasing homes, so we want to share. This is my nod to Star Wars. C-3PO, and any of you like Star Wars aficionados, do not crack down on me. I know this is not spelled correctly, but I devised it for my own purposes. So we're looking at curated, customized, contextualized, personalized, omni-channel experiences. We'll touch on a little bit of that, but really what we're looking is How close can we get to a one-on-one communication with each individual about what they personally like? Delivering them relevant messages about what they, in the time and the place, and where they're at. So that's C3PO. So we're just going to look at some of these trends today. So we have social, which we touched on. Location, so this can be aggregated location data, so where are you, so your mobile device is collecting that information. There's other modes to collect location data, also ways to tie you to a place. So location is a data point that is significant and will continue to grow in the future. Big data and machine learning, so cognitive learning, predictive analytics, all of that falls in here. So really beginning to understand someone's likes, dislikes, where they go, habits, all coming into machine learning and then coming back and communicating specifically with specific individuals. Digital payment, I don't know if this gets talked about enough, so I'm going to touch on it today. This is the last step in the experience, right, is creating a frictionless transaction experience. Digital payment is a significant part of that. IoT, Internet of Things. The Internet of Things, then by 2017, Gartner projects that we will have 6.4 billion things connected to the internet. So everything will have data associated with it. So we're looking at, which we aren't talking about today, but certainly part of the ecosystem, smart homes, connected cars, Fitbits, you name it, pieces of clothing, merchandise, product, everything is going to have something connected to it. And then the fun stuff, which I think is fun, augmented reality and virtual reality. Okay, before we move to the fun stuff, I just want to make a few points. So, technology is fantastic. I love technology, but it should have a purpose, right? When we're implementing these things into our businesses, it needs to have a purpose. And the purpose is to connect with the consumer, right? So, understanding what your consumer, who your audience is critical to deploying the right solutions to match those people. We talked about those multimodal generations. Not everything's going to apply to everybody in every business, so it's critical to know who the consumer is and speak to that person. Technologies are enablers. This is the way I see it. They facilitate that relationship. They facilitate the connection. They facilitate the communication, but they aren't the end goal. There are some better ways to do it in communicating with the right audiences, absolutely. But just keep that in mind. So know your business goals. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to achieve? And then lastly, connect the technology to those goals. All right? Okay, enough of the classroom stuff. Let's get into the fun stuff. But I do want you to bear all in mind moving forward. This is pretty cool. So now I'm going to take you into what's happening, I think, in the world. So this is a subway station in Asia, and this is a great example of connecting the physical and digital world. Your brand and your experience can live outside of the four walls of where you are today. This is what technology is enabling us to do, and it's such an amazing opportunity. So if we think about, I'm going to just point out very quickly the disruption that's happened in print media. I'm going to talk about the New York Times. If anyone's familiar with the New York Times, I'm sure you are. The journalism industry has been disrupted almost overnight. Almost overnight. So when you think about the New York Times now is not a physical newspaper. What does the New York Times mean as a brand? What do they mean? They have to reinvent themselves to figure out what that means, because it no longer exists as a product, right? So now the New York Times has to exist in a different way in the physical world. And they really got disrupted very quickly. So that's what I encourage you to think about is, what does your brand mean? Who are you in the world? Because that brand can live not only in the physical world, but in the digital world as well, and in connecting those dots. This is a great way. This gentleman is grocery shopping in a subway. And then he's taking pictures of the products that he wants, and then those will be waiting for him at home, delivered to his home, where he can go pick those up. That's amazing use of space. So do we need a physical store anymore to do that, or a physical location to do that? Not necessarily. Interactive. So I'm going to show you some different examples of this. This is a gesture-based interactive mirror. So as you can see, this gentleman is trying on a pink tie. He's not quite centered. But there's loads of different examples of these kinds of things. But this one, he's selecting products and merchandise and things he wants to look at simply by gesturing in the air and then trying that merchandise on. This could be any kind of product, this could be any kind of content that you want to deliver out to create an engaging experience. Here's another example of this. This is a brand that has a digital poster, right? And through visual recognition, we can place that consumer into the experience. Now they're part of this experience and they can see themselves and imagine what it could be to have this product and be a part of this amazing world. So let me show you this. We have a little video here for you. Now what this is an interactive digital signage wall. You can see how easy that was to use. Very user-friendly and very simple to use. That's in Macy's Herald Square in a section they're calling One Below. That's all user-generated content, socially driven, that has an interactive experience in the in-store environment. I recently talked to the CEO of this company, and they have very, their touchscreen is very nimble, very nimble. It's a great product. What's interesting about it too is they're being asked, and they're going to start integrating digital payment right into these touchscreens. But what's amazing about this is there's two things. One is that there was a baby, and I saw the baby at the beginning. The baby knew what to do when it walked up to it. It knew exactly what to do. And then the second piece is it's user-generated content. So that's all social media that's coming into there to convey the messages. So those are being brought into the store environment, connecting that physical and digital world. The caveat I have about this example is, and I've experienced this in movie theater, so this is why I want to share this with you too, is that when we want to create a social experience, part of the whole objective of this department they created at Macy's Herald Square was to attract the millennial consumer. And the millennial consumers love to be social, right? We all just talked about it. They know about it. But the first thing I wanted to do when I got into this department was tweet about it. And guess what? I couldn't. Do you know why? There was no Wi-Fi connection. Couldn't get to the internet. So the whole point is not to observe being social, but is to be social, right? So when we're enabling these tools and technologies, I would suggest, as I have experience with interactive advertising, as attended the interactive advertising in the movie theater, is that you need to have, make sure the Wi-Fi works, make sure the tools work. Now this just opened, I tried to bring you some fresh examples. This just opened in New York City in the meatpacking district in February. This is the Samsung Experience Store. They're calling it 837, which is simply the address of where it is. This is an amazing location, though. This is showing you now how the world is starting to work and engage with the consumer in a very different way than it has before. This is a 55,000 square foot facility. That screen you see on the left, I wanted to give you a sampling of images to look at. The screen that you see on the left is 3 stories tall. And then they have an amphitheater that comes up behind it. They have a virtuality room. The tube on the bottom left where that woman is standing is all visual experiences around travel or entertainment. So this store, what's unique about this, I don't even call it a store, this location, is that they sell nothing. They sell nothing. It's all about experience and community. And as a matter of fact, they're doing things like running clubs and we'll help you fix your gear and different classes, engaging with the tools and the technologies, but they are selling absolutely nothing. That's kind of a novel idea. And what they did last week, as a matter of fact, is they actually did an event with Jon Favreau for Disney's movie Jungle Book, and they had a Q&A, and then they awarded the attendees some special treat at the end by giving them some content delivered through the VR experience, the Samsung VR. Very different way we're starting to look at how to engage with consumers. So we'll talk about the power of social media, which we just keep talking about. But this is my personal experience. This is October in New York City. I was coming up from the back. The block. So between the avenues, if y'all are familiar with the distance between the avenues is long, right? This line on the right, I guess on the left, right, is about 5 or 6 people deep. So the width of the sidewalk is packed between the avenues, deep with people, wraps around the building, then wraps again around the building. Unbelievable. I go to that restaurant. I know that restaurant. There were so many people there, I got lost and overshot it, didn't know where I was. So I finally stopped somebody and said, what the heck is happening here? Here's what's happening. Right? Amazing. YouTube star PewDiePie has 40 million followers. We're doing a book signing at Barnes & Noble. There's 2 other things that stand out. There's probably 3 things that stand out to me on that. One, obviously, we see the power of social media and the power of this person as an influencer in social media. What we also see, which I thought was funny, is that we've been saying bookstores and books are dead, right? Aren't they? Doesn't look like it from that photo. So what it tells me is that social media has the power to engage, connect with those consumers, drive those footsteps into the stores, right? And using those influencers that are online to drive that message. And there's several of them. Snapchat. I'm only going to talk about one today. Obviously there's Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and there's loads. Snapchat is our rising star in social media world. And I'd say keep an eye on this one. This is important. On March 11th, MLB, Major League Baseball in the United States, approved Snapchat as the only approved social media channel that they're going to use. And they're allowing, or at least on the field, so all 30 teams participated in Snapchat Day on March 11th. So all of the players get to now have their own communication right from the field. So they're having authentic communication, sending their message about their brand out to the world via Snapchat. And there's 2 things I want to tell you about that. Is that one, Snapchat is now going to be one is, I would say, it's authentic, user-generated content, creating relationships with that audience. And the other 2 pieces are, one is that Snapchat is going to be doing commerce. It was recently announced, the editor of Cosmopolitan magazine, Joanna Coles, is on the board of Snapchat, announced in the fall that they're going to be making this a commerce channel as well, so you can transact directly through Snapchat. And then the second piece is that they can also now play video through Snapchat. So they are one of the only platforms that has started to figure this out. And I just saw a piece this morning on Snapchat where this young guy, it's amazing. So he's got, I think, 1 million followers on Snapchat. For a little lark, he decided to do a little test to see how influential he was and wanted to drive people to Union Square in New York City, in a neighborhood in New York City. Within 16 minutes of making the announcement of come meet me in Union Square, for no purpose other than to talk about Snapchat, they weren't getting anything, other than to see him and meet him. Within 16 minutes, they had 146,000 views. 146,000 in 16 minutes of people paying attention to seemingly nothing other than to go meet their star. So Snapchat is something I would definitely keep an eye on. And the other piece is that the MLB is embracing this because their challenge is that their games, they know that this group of people is not going to engage in going to a 9-inning game 6 days a week. So they're trying to circumvent that challenge and engaging social media to drive a connection with their product, Major League Baseball, to that audience. You guys all know this brand. They're one of our sponsors. Thank you very much, Coca-Cola. But that's not why I'm talking about them. This I particularly like it a lot. This is not new and novel, but I wanted to share why I like it. So we talked about C3PO, contextualized, personalized, customized. This exemplifies those qualities. The other piece that it does is that because I can combine all of my choices here, I can now take that and the app, I don't know if you all know that, the app that allows you to share and socialize your personal recipe with your network. That's awesome. right? So, and also promotes the brand. The other piece is, what I think is great, is this is a revenue generator, so if you don't have those in your locations, I would encourage you to look into it because it drives footsteps. Those people who will make choices over one location over the other, if they have this machine. And that's an absolute, right? Did somebody just say yes? It's an absolute yes. So I've talked to Coca-Cola about it, and that's how that is. So let me share this with you. There's one example of on-demand. So you may be familiar with Levi Stadium in San Francisco, on-demand. So their app allows you to do mobile ticketing, get your parking passes, mobile ordering of food and beverage. And I thought this was relevant for you guys in this element, in that you can do an express pickup at the concession area or have it brought directly to your seat. How awesome is that? So bringing all the conveniences of your home right to your seat. But you get to have that in-stadium experience in the physical world. But all the conveniences that might have kept you at home are now available to you in the stadium, including replays. Including replays at your seat. Something to think about. Here's an example. Now this is what I wanted to show you about how people are making decisions and how quickly they're making decisions around products, services, merchandise, entertainment, and even their love lives.
Hi, I'm Logan. I'm not in this for a one-night stand. I'm in it for the long haul. I think my mom is really gonna like you.
Do you like the smell of Chester?
When my friends talk about me, they say things like, Kyle's awesome. I want to be like Kyle. What do your friends say about you?
I want to take out my contacts and put them in your eyes.
He likes to watch.
So you're really cute.
Hey. Yellow. Must love bacon?
I love bacon.
The naturally smoked kind?
Yeah, that's been cured for a really, really long time.
Exactly.
Sounds like you know what you like.
I like bacon. Do you want a piece?
I'm your item lover on Sizzle, the only dating app for bacon lovers, brought to you by Oscar Mayer. The bacon that's passionately cured for 12 hours and never in smokehouse or another 12. Oscar Mayer, bacon for bacon lovers. Download Sizzle, available now on the App Store.
So that's one way to connect, with the audience. I thought you'd enjoy that. But that's how decisions are made, right? Swipe left, swipe right. That's how great relationships are formed. Apparently. And who doesn't like bacon? Anyway, so a quick touch base on apps and connected experiences. What we just saw is swipe theory. Swipe left, no. Swipe right. For all those folks that didn't raise their hands about dating apps, this is how it works. Okay, swipe left, swipe right. I like them. In the middle, so that's Tinder, and there's loads of different kind of even product apps that are using that kind of Tinderized experience. Middle, I have something called Songza as an app. Now we're looking at curation. We talked about curation a little bit. Songza, it curates a playlist for every moment of your life. So this is how people are thinking and how we're working, right? So we look at other, other music service providers. This one's interesting because you could have a curated playlist for cleaning the house, for doing the laundry, for doing your homework, whatever the case may be, or even a curated song list for when your relationship ends and you're drowning your sorrows. So they'll curate a list for anything for you. And then lastly, Uber. Of course, you're going to keep seeing Uber over and over and over and over again. They are leading the way in terms of connecting and engaging with other brands to facilitate goods and services and consumers in the world. And this is an example of that. So we want to deliver something that's contextually relevant. In this case, we have United Airlines is using Uber, the Uber API. So this is the collaborative piece that I talked about earlier. Is they're taking in Uber's API to say, okay, once you check in for your flight, then it'll say, oh, okay, great, well, we can send a car for you. Would you like that? That's pretty nice. It makes it pretty frictionless and easy to get where I need to go. So enhancing the behavior that we have. A couple simple solutions I wanted to show you. Some of the best solutions, and actually the best solutions are simple. This is a company called Blue Fox. This is a little tablet, it's like a little, at-counter level tablet, very, very simple messaging, can be put right onto this tablet. Now what's great about this is it doesn't require an app. We talked about the multimodal generation, right? So some generations are not going to be interested in apps. As a matter of fact, consumers in general, we have about 100 apps on our phone on average. Most consumers use about 10. And they use the ones that are most meaningful to them. Your banking app, your weather app, things of that nature. So in this case, all you need to do is very user-friendly. You walk up to it, you plug in your phone number, it sends you an SMS text message to your phone, and now you can start a communication. It can send you messages, coupons, and offers only while you are on that location. So big brands have used this, CPG brands have used this in store and in aisle. This is a great way to communicate with our customer. Then when they return to the location, they will receive a notification, hi, welcome back, don't forget, you can get this coupon today. This is a super simple technology, which I really love. Looks very analog, which I like, kind of the retro feel. This is a Barcelona-based company called Flapit, and this simple device keeps track of your social media. So when we talk about social media is the currency by which we value something, right? The number of Facebook likes, the number of stars on your Yelp rating, how many followers you have on Twitter, that all conveys a message of value in the digital world. So what this simple solution does is bring that social media into your physical world so your consumer can connect your value with that physical space in real time. So even if they stand in front of this device, go to your Facebook page, like it, you can even send them a personalized message after that will update real time that says, for my French friends in the room, merci. Right? Thank you. And this will follow YouTube, Twitter, whatever channels you want. And all of them at the same time. Really great. I think it's really smart and simple. Data-driven. This is a simple product as well. So this one, as you can see, my Twitter handle is on there. So if anybody wants to tweet me, there it is. Don't wait till the end. But Anne-Marie_AMS. And what they asked me to do is plug in my Twitter handle, social media, into this digital signage, interactive digital signage. And what happened on the back end is that they used IBM Watson technology, which is machine learning, right? Cognitive machine learning. It analyzed very quickly all of my tweets, and then within seconds produced a product recommendation for me. What would be the best product of these bicycles to have? Now you can use this type of solution for any kind of product. Doesn't matter what it is. They're actually using it even in a large auto manufacturer is using this solution to match sales associates to consumers when they come into the show. It's fascinating, right? But simple. You guys may be familiar with this, Amazon Dash, Internet of Things. So you can do a single button order right from your home on any product, and then Amazon will deliver it to you. It is a frictionless transaction. And this is very similar to that, but here's what's unique about it. This is an Israeli-based company that just came here to the United States. Brand new emerging technology. This is a single button, very much like Amazon Dash, but it's owned by the brand. So if you're using the Amazon Dash, Amazon holds all of that data. If you're using this, you own all that data. And you know everything about your consumer. You know what they like, when they order, where they're from, what zip code, all of those things. So if you order pizza on Friday night, and it's a medium pepperoni pizza every Friday night, all you have to do is hit that button, right? And the way it's being used in this kind of, in other ways, is that it's a single order button. So if you're at a bar, you can be sitting at the table, order your drink, boom, done. Frictionless, painless experience. It's really amazing. A lot of big brands are looking at this. So imagine if you're Starbucks, you can have your consumer, you can have your coffee, the one that you like, delivered via, so I hit the button, get the same thing I always like. Uber picks it up for me, brings it to my house, I get out of the shower, and I have my, latte the way I like it delivered to my door. Beacons. So this is when I first met y'all, and we're talking about beacons. So many of you probably know about beacons. For those of you who don't, I will touch on it very quickly. Beacon is a very small device that is a proximity-based technology that triggers an app on your phones. The beacon device itself is not smart, doesn't do anything, but what it does is it triggers an activity within your app. It is app dependent. You have to have an app for beacons to work, okay? So just brought a couple of examples for you. Recently, Playbill, you might know this group from New York City, is using this beacon solution in their theaters to deliver product information, or I wouldn't say product information, but show information to attendees and their audiences when they sit down in the seats. I know some big movie theater chains, probably in this room, have used beacons as well and starting to test that. The beacon market has been trying to find its way for a little while, so if you haven't done it yet, you haven't missed anything. It's still been iterating. And that's the thing with emerging technology and new solutions, it's an iterative process. So it isn't an out-of-the-box solution, you have to find your way a little bit on it. But I think product information is a great way. Obviously you can incent consumers with offers and recommendations for future shows. Thought this was relevant, this is recent news. So, Screen Vision is installing beacons in 300 cineplexes with Mobiquity networks. So Mobiquity has relationships also with the major malls. There's 5 major mall chains. They have relationships with at least 3 of them, with 3 big players. And the other benefit that this brings for cineplexes, other than offering the offers, interactive games, and retargeting, is that these also will reach outside of the mall areas. So they'll be able to touch 1,700 additional theaters with these messages that are within a 10-mile radius of these locations. So again, the location and proximity has a reach well beyond what the actual physical location is. Digital payment, very quickly, PayPal and Foursquare. PayPal is expanding their offering to other services. So Macy's just announced, they're already doing, PayPal already has a relationship with Subway. Macy's just announced that they are incorporating the PayPal into their app so you can do a single button transaction. Frictionless, easy, how do I make a transaction easy, right? Foursquare, if you're familiar with Foursquare, it's the check-in app. Hi, I'm here. The other thing Foursquare has is a lot of data. They have so much data. They're very interested in connecting the online and the offline world and really understanding consumer behavior. So if you have Foursquare is running location in the back through mobile or in the app, is running location services in the back like many apps do. So they really understand where consumers are, what they're doing, what their likes are, down to what they like to order at a particular restaurant chain. It's fascinating. They have a lot of data. But what they're doing here is, again, that collaborative integration button is the one on the top, Uber on the bottom, so that you can now do those transactions. When you think about putting your brand outside of the world where you're at, your world can live inside of an Uber app, and they're doing things like transactions with Groupon, Airbnb, Ticketmaster, and this will change the way consumers purchase and where they purchase. So again, multimodal purchasing. Collaborative. This is one of the things I saw at CES. This is the Samsung Family Hub refrigerator. On the left, you see, the whole screen. It's like an iPad that the whole family can engage and interact with. It keeps the weather, your family calendar, your grocery list. So what they did is they partnered with MasterCard. So now you can keep your grocery list right on your refrigerator, and MasterCard enables the transaction to happen, and you can go pick it up or have it delivered to your house. How genius is that? On demand, collaborative, making my life easier, moving faster. Now, this is not a plug, but it is one of my most favorite things. Coca-Cola is doing some of the most innovative and things that we see in connecting the physical and digital world. And I share this with you because I want to open your eyes, or open your imagination, I should say, to things that are possible.
To get more people to try Coke Zero, we created an entire campaign that they can literally drink. First, we We built a billboard that served real Coke Zero to thousands of fans. Then, we poured Coke Zero to people all over the country.
Your TV is about to pour you a Coke Zero.
This is a drinkable commercial.
We partnered with Shazam and created a new way of using their technology.
Shazam now to drink it.
By Shazamming the spot, the Coke Zero from the screen was poured right into people's phones, whether they were at home, at a concert, or among 80,000 people at the NCAA final game. Every interaction ended with a free Coke Zero that could be redeemed at major retail stores across the U.S. Even when there was no screen, we poured Coke Zero using just sound. From ads that became cups, to flyers that became straws, to tweets that poured Coke Zeros in 140 characters, to drinkable posters that use Shazam to turn people's phones into digital straws. Every single ad put a Coke Zero in people's hands. So next time you're thirsty, drink an ad.
That's pretty cool. But it's amazing, right? So you use visual recognition, audio recognition, and connecting the physical digital world. Do I think this is possible for everybody to do tomorrow? No, I don't. But what I do want to share this with you is because I would like it to stimulate the idea of what is possible, knowing these things are out there, right? And knowing that you can do something. Something can be done that's interesting. So let's talk a little bit about virtual reality. This is kind of a scary picture, sort of an interesting picture. It's a little bit of both. So I don't know, this was recently taken from the Mobile World Congress that was just held in Barcelona in February, or beginning of March, February, March. This is Mark Zuckerberg, you might know him, CEO of Facebook. And then this is the announcement that they were promoting Oculus Rift at Mobile World Congress. They did a big push on it. So virtual reality is a really interesting idea. So what I like about this image in some ways is that it shows the possibility of bringing together a community of people that are interested. There are certain things that are being done called silent discos too. It's like an organic growth thing, and everybody's familiar with silent discos. But the kids today like to go to these silent discos and they all put on headphones and they listen to different music, but they're all together. So this reminded me of that. So, and there are some companies are taking promotions around those silent disco concepts. So the idea is that we can still enjoy our unique, curated, individual, personalized experiences of being in a group together. I know it sounds weird to some of us, but that's what the kids are doing. Virtual reality for McDonald's looks like this. So both McDonald's and New York Times used Google Cardboard. This actually, they converted a Happy Meal box into a virtual reality viewer. What an interesting way to do this. So you can use apps now that can be used for augmented reality, or sorry, virtual reality. You don't have to have a whole headset, so this is sort of the poor man's version of it. But what McDonald's used it for was to promote a family holiday period in Sweden, and then the content was, something about snow skiing, something really cool to look at regarding snow skiing and that family vacation experience. But again, when we talk about virtual reality, we're looking at the experience, engaging the consumer through a different way of storytelling. The other thing is authentic communication. One thing consumers don't want anymore is they don't want to be sold to. So how do you create a connection with that potential audience through a new way to communicate to them? And these are some of those ideas. Augmented reality. So augmented reality is a little bit different than virtual reality. It means it augments, thinking about the word itself. It's a digital overlay onto the physical world. So in this case, this is a company called Blipper, and what they did was partner, this is promoting the movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Say that 3 times real fast. And they partnered with Pizza Hut. And when you download the app, again, encouraging you to start using those apps, right? And this is what you're going to get. They then were able to experience with engagement on a Pizza Hut box from the pizza that was delivered to them, user content that was special for them once they downloaded that app and then engaged with the box around Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Hobbit did something in print as well around augmented reality using this technology. This is a company called Layer that was actually acquired by Blooper that we just talked about. Very simple. You can do an augment over physical poster, and then this is very clear. It's not a great photo, but I wanted to show you, buy the ticket right there. Purchase. This one I like quite a bit. This one is Yelp. Loads of you know Yelp. So user-generated reviews, right? User reviews from crowdsource. So here you get an augmented overlay with their new product called Monocle. And you can see, you can get the stars, the ratings, the places, the locations, all of that augmented and laid over the physical world. Pretty cool. So it understands location and it understands, what you're looking for. Now, this one, before we get started, this is augmented reality on steroids. This is coming out this year. And now it has changed. This is Pokemon Go. It is encouraging consumers to use the physical world as a game. So you can connect with fellow gamers and play the game in the physical world using location technology and augmented reality. Let's take a look. So that is happening. How cool is that? I mean, that's really amazing to take it to that level. So we'll see how that goes. So that's 2016. So we're going to wrap this up. But the key takeaway is going to go back to my classroom setting. And remember these things. I've got one more thing to show you after this. But keep the consumer at the center. Technologies are enablers. Know your business goals and connect technology to those goals. Now, the last thing that I want to show you, I'm going to tee this up a little bit, is that when I talked about social, one thing I left out was talking about social good. Social good is a really relevant part of the conversation that we're having today. One, because millennials want to do business with those businesses that are socially aware and socially involved. So that means and translates into good business. So social good is good business. And it's also good for the world. So when we look at this last video, what I wanted, I pulled this for you because I thought it would be very relevant and timely to our conversation, is that not only does it engage social good, but it also engages location technologies, the physical world, and mobile devices. So with that, I want to thank you. We'll close out with the video, and I look forward to seeing you at the event. Great. So thank you again. There's my contact information. I will be around for the next few days, and I look forward to meeting some of you. Enjoy your event, and thanks for the opportunity to kick it off.